Hi friends, it's Aubrey. In today's video, I am going to be showing you five ingredient dinners that you can make for your family this week. If that interests you, keep watching. For this first recipe, we are going to make some carbonara. These are the ingredients you'll need: just some grated Parmesan cheese, some eggs, garlic, the bacon or pancetta, and some sort of pasta. We're going to get our water boiling, and once it comes to a boil, we'll make sure to salt the water and then add in our noodles and give it all a good stir occasionally so it doesn't stick together. I'll be sure to have my cute dinosaur spoon linked down below for you. And while the pasta is cooking, we are going to cook up our bacon. I chopped it into little pieces so that way we don't have to cut it after it's cooked. And then you can choose to save your bacon grease. What I like to do is put it into a container in my fridge and pull it out to season and cook chicken and other types of meats in the pan. That is definitely a good option and a good way to also save your drains. Once the bacon is fully cooked, you will remove it and put it on a paper towel on a plate to get all the excess grease off. And then you'll go ahead and add some garlic to your pan and heat this until it's fragrant. Once the garlic is fragrant, you'll go ahead and add your drained noodles into the pan. And then I combined 2 eggs and a half cup of Parmesan cheese together, and we're going to add that in the pan as well. We'll give everything a good stir to make sure that the egg and cheese mixture gets on all of the noodles. I'll also add some pasta water just to make it more saucy. You do this until it's at your liking. Once everything is cooked and well combined, we'll go ahead and add our bacon back in. And this part's optional, but I really like it if you add a little bit of fresh parsley or dried parsley. So I'm going to just sprinkle some until it looks good. And then I also seasoned it with some additional pepper. My bacon is always super salty, so I always go less on the salt and let people just salt it at the table if they want to. Here's the completed dish. This is so tasty and it comes together in about 20 minutes. I definitely recommend this for you and your family. For this next dinner, we are going to make barbecue pulled pork pizza. And so I have my frozen crescent roll pizza dough. Yes, it's frozen. You can totally freeze these. They freeze just fine. I normally pull it out about 24 hours in advance just so it thaws all the way before I need to use it. So we're just going to press this out onto my cookie sheet to try and get it as big but still thick enough on the bottom there for a good sized pizza for my family. While the crust baked for a few minutes to kind of prepare it for the pizza toppings, I caramelized some onions with some butter, salt, and pepper. After the crust cooked for a few minutes, according to the package instructions, I pulled it out and put it on our counter and started adding our other toppings. So we had some barbecue sauce in the fridge, so I wanted to use that up and use that as the base for the sauce. And then we added our caramelized onions and the pulled pork. The pulled pork I bought at the store a few months ago, I believe, and it was on clearance. I had it in my freezer and thought this was a great way to use it up. But you can definitely use pulled pork that you made, or if you have leftover pulled pork from a different dinner, this is a great way to use that up. I forgot to mention that the pulled pork that I purchased was unsauced, and so I added a little bit additional barbecue sauce just to make sure there was enough of that flavor. You can definitely add more veggies to this. You could add bell peppers, mushrooms, really whatever you like. And then what I did was topped all of this with some mozzarella cheese and then popped it in the oven at 425 for about 7 minutes. You can definitely just keep an eye on it and just wait until the cheese is melted. And once you pull it out, slice it up. And this was so tasty. I definitely recommend this one for you guys to try and let me know if you do in the comments down below. For this next dinner, I am making some chicken teriyaki stir fry. You'll need rice or noodles and chicken stir fry mix or fresh veggie mix and some teriyaki sauce. You can make this from scratch or buy a bottled kind from the store like I did. I'll be sure to have one of my favorite teriyaki sauce recipes linked down below for you. For this recipe, I cut the chicken into small bite-sized pieces, put it in my pan with some oil, gave it some seasoning with salt, pepper, onion powder, and garlic powder. And once the chicken was fully cooked, I pulled it off of the stove and put it onto a plate. And then I cooked the vegetables according to the package instructions. And once the veggies were all the way cooked, I added my chicken back in and then added in my teriyaki sauce. I got my veggie mix from Walmart and they had a lot of good varieties, so I definitely recommend checking there. And this turned out really good, super quick and easy to make, and everybody liked it. This next dinner is one of my absolute favorites. If you saw my extreme grocery budget video, I made a sausage and veggie bake. This is a spin on that with sweet potatoes, carrots, green beans, onions, and sausage. I'll be sure to have that video linked here for you. I made 7 dinners for $20 for my family, and all of them were so tasty, so flavorful. Let's get back to this recipe though. So for this recipe, I added some olive oil to my pan with the sweet potatoes and then seasoned it with salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, paprika, and some Italian seasoning. I just eyeballed everything. That's how I do most of my cooking. So I'm sorry I don't have exact measurements, but that is just how I do things. Just measure with your heart. After you've finished seasoning the sweet potatoes, give them a good stir, cover them with aluminum foil, and then put them in the oven that's been preheated to 425 degrees. And you'll cook these for 10 minutes while you prep the rest of the other ingredients. I'm going to finely dice up my onion. If you like bigger onion chunks, leave them bigger. If you like really teeny onion chunks, throw it in your food processor and push the button to blend it a few times. And then I also got my carrots chopped, and you can switch the veggies out for this recipe and it'll taste great. You just kind of need to know the timings of the vegetables, which you'll see as we go throughout this recipe. Had to take the food in and out of the oven a whole bunch of times, but it's just so nothing gets overcooked and everything is to the crispness that we like it. I will season all of the vegetables with the same seasoning mix, the onion powder, garlic powder, salt, pepper, paprika, and Italian seasoning. And you'll see me do that for all the veggies. And then for the carrots and onions, those will go in second. We'll add those in, cover it up, and bake these for an additional 10 minutes while we prep our sausage. You can really use whatever kind of cooked sausage that you like for this, or you could leave it out completely and add in some sort of beans, like garbanzo beans or black beans, to keep it a vegetarian meal. I also prepped my green beans at this time, but we'll put those in very last. This next thing we'll add into our baking dish is the sausage. We'll cover this and bake it for an additional 5 to 10 minutes. I will say, depending on which ingredients you choose to use in your sausage bake, you won't have to do this back and forth so much. But with the ingredients I chose for this particular rendition of this meal, I just didn't want anything to get overcooked. So that's why I'm taking things in and out so often. The green beans only need about 7 to 10 minutes to fully cook in the oven, so we'll put those in last. Again, seasoning it with the same things that we seasoned everything with. And then you can bake this uncovered for a little bit to add a little extra crispness if you would like. But this is the completed dish. This is one of my favorite dinners that we make, and we eat this quite often because it's cheap, minimal ingredients, filling, and it's pretty well balanced. Tonight we are making a 4-ingredient meatball sub. We're gonna use some of these clearance rolls, some homemade spaghetti sauce. I'll have a link to a video where I made this recently for you guys, some mozzarella cheese, and some meatballs. Let's get cooking. We're gonna pop these in the microwave to thaw out, and then we'll combine them with our sauce. We're gonna start warming up our sauce on the stove, and then once it's a little bit warm, we'll go ahead and add the meatballs. I like to cut my meatballs in half so they're a little bit easier to eat. If you have some butter and garlic powder or even some Parmesan cheese, you can make some little garlic rounds, or if you have like hoagie rolls, you can make them little garlic hoagie rolls. That way it's a little bit additional flavor for your sandwich. So we're gonna pop these in the oven at 400 degrees for just 2 or 3 minutes. to melt the butter, and then we'll go ahead and add our meatballs and cheese. We're gonna leave this one just as garlic bread for my daughter. She's gonna have a deconstructed sandwich, and then we'll top these two with the mozzarella. One of us likes a lot of cheese, the other one does not, so less cheese on one, more cheese on the other. Let's put these in the oven for about 2 or 3 minutes until the cheese is melty. This is what they look like just out of the oven. Let's plate these up. With your extra ingredient, you could have some sort of veggie side. We had corn in the freezer, so that is what we're having with ours, but here is what it looks like. Super excited to break into these. We love making these sandwiches, and I recommend that you guys try them for your family. That is all I have for you guys today. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, give this video a like and hit that subscribe button down below. New videos here every single Sunday. Also, leave me a comment down below of some of your favorite minimal ingredient meals that I should try out with my family. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye!